Hi everyone, my name is Ahian and welcome to a new video. So today is not really a sit down video, not really a vlog. What I'm going to be doing is a huge book unhaul. Basically, I am moving out of my apartment soon, and lately I've been realizing that my bookshelves are getting really full, and I know that I want to get new books, and I don't plan, at least for the next few years, because I'm moving in with a family member, because I'm going back to school. I will have limited space, so I'm not gonna add a third bookshelf. So I'm gonna need some space on these bookshelves. And the truth is, I do have a lot of books that I know I'm never gonna read again, don't really bring me happiness. Maybe even I hated and I still held on to them for some reason. So yeah, I'm gonna be going through each shelf, and then as I go, I will Marie Kondo it basically and hold the book, be like, does it actually bring me joy, or do I want to keep it? And yeah, I'm gonna go through the entire bookshelf with you to decide what I'm gonna read or not. If you're curious about what I'm gonna do with these books, I am gonna try to sell some of them, and then I'm gonna give away the rest to like nonprofit organizations or libraries or stuff like that. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna start with this shelf at the bottom, and then I'm gonna move to the top because most of my new books are at the top, so probably gonna unhaul most of what's down here. But I didn't go through these at all before, so I'm really deciding on the spot. The first thing I do see on this shelf from here is my dust jackets from To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy. I've actually lended these to someone, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, and still haven't gotten them back. I still want to get them back, so I'm not getting rid of these. That's why I kept the dust jacket, so I don't forget about it, but definitely wouldn't get rid of this. That's still one of my favorite YA series. Then here I have these two YA contemporaries, What I Thought Was True and My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. I remember reading this one and really liking it at the time that I read it. That's definitely not something that I'm gonna reread, and not something that I feel the need to keep. I definitely think someone could enjoy this more than me. This one I don't even remember if I did read it or not. These I'm getting rid of. Then I have the two books from Zoella's YA series. I remember I was in a huge Zoella phase, obviously, when I got these. I enjoyed it when I read it, wasn't anything special, but at the time I was obsessed with Zoella, so this was the best thing to ever exist. It's been so long, I've never reread it, and I completely lost interest, so I never even read the second book, so I will be getting rid of these. Next year I have two more YA contemporaries, Crash Into You by Katie McGarry and Pushing the Limits by the same author. I remember this one was the main character struggled with self-harm, this one panic attacks. That was a pretty good concept. I remember liking them a lot when I read them. I'm not sure if I want to keep them or if I want to get rid of them, because it did mean a lot to me when I read them, because it's like, it's a cute romance, but also it was topics that I was dealing with. So I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. The next book I have here is It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. I remember reading this because I saw the movie that was based on the book, liked the movie, but I didn't really like the book, and I don't think I want to keep it, so I'm gonna give that away. And then I'm also giving away these two other books. So one is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. It wasn't a bad book, but nothing special. I don't remember much, and I never read the rest of the series because I wasn't that interested. So this one, hopefully someone who likes the series or wants to start it can enjoy this book. This one is called Juliet Immortal by Stacey J. Definitely isn't something I'm gonna pick back up or that I feel the need to keep. So next one is I Was Here by Gail Forman. Gail Forman was a really popular author a few years ago. Don't remember anything about this one, so I'm giving it away. This one by Sophie Kinsella, Finding Audrey. That was a really cute YA story, and our main character dealt with social anxiety, so that did mean a lot to me when I read it. I don't know if it's something I will reread, but I do want to keep it. We've got some more books. This one is Teeth by Anna Moskowitz. This is my fiance's favorite book, or one of them, and I did enjoy this, and of course it means a lot because we read it together and it's her favorite, so Not getting rid of this. The Duff. It's not something I'll reread, but I remember having so much fun when I read it. So it brings back a lot of memories, and I do have some type of sentimental attachment to it, so I'm gonna keep it. This one is called A Little Something Different, and I remember it was an interesting concept. I don't remember much, but I would be interested in rereading this. It's also a really cute cover. It was like a romance written from different point of views. So I think I'm gonna keep this. Two more on hauls. We have Pretty Little Liars, the first book. I wanted to compare it to the TV show. It was a fun time, but like not enough for me to pick up the rest of the series. So I'm gonna get rid of that one. And then I remember nothing of this. I don't even think I enjoyed it, by Jennifer E. Smith. So yeah, getting rid of that. We have Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I've actually read this last year. It wasn't bad, but like I kind of enjoyed it. I'm never gonna reread it. I'm gonna put it in a maybe pile. Then I have a couple of holiday stories. The two that I read this year were The Holiday Swap. This one I really loved, so I'm keeping. And then Window Shopping, which is one of the only books that I gave 1 star to last year, if not the only book. Really didn't like this, so even if this is relatively new to my bookshelf, I'm getting rid of it. I feel like someone might enjoy it, but it was just really not for me. Now we're getting into my graphic novels. It's a small collection, but I do really like it, so I don't think I'll get rid of much. First one is A Monster's Call by Patrick Ness. I don't think that's actually... Okay, that's not actually a graphic novel. It's just a book with illustrations. But I don't remember much of this, and I feel like someone would enjoy it more than me. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Now let's move on to this shelf. We have this book called A Jewel by Amy Ewing, which really made me think when I read it. It really made me think of The Selection. I did really enjoy it when I read it, but I never finished the rest of the series and never will, so get rid of that. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. That was quite interesting. I feel like that's a special book because of all the illustrations, so even though I don't think I would reread it, I still want to keep it. There's some books here that even though I don't think I will ever reread, I still want to hold on to because they were quite like interesting reading experiences, like Red Queen of Fire and Stars. I think I will give that one away actually because I didn't really enjoy it. I was really happy to read it because it was a sapphic fantasy, but it just wasn't for me, and I feel like someone could definitely enjoy this more than I did. And same thing here for Girls Made of Snow and Glass, which I read last year. Another one that I'm getting rid of. Don't think I'll sell it. I feel like no one should read this. I do not like Sarah J. Maas. There's a whole controversy going on around Sarah J. Maas. What I've read, I really didn't like and didn't align with my values at all. So I've decided that I'm never going to read her books. I did read Throne of Glass a few years ago and I didn't even like it. So I'm getting rid of this. This is Lux. 2 books in the series in one. It was a fun time. Don't remember much. Never will reread it. Then I have a beloved series from when I was a kid in French. Keeping this forever. Now this might be controversial, but I am getting rid of all 3 books from the Hunger Games. When I started to get into books, the Hunger Game thing was kind of over. I wanted to read them, that's why I bought them, but I never did, and I never will, so I don't want them. So I'm gonna give these away. And then I have 2 arcs that I want to keep. Moving on to the second shelf. I guess I'll start on this side. I will get rid of Huntress by Melinda Lowe. It was a sapphic story that I did not really enjoy, but someone else might. Then these are just series that even though I don't think I will reread, I still want to hold on to. So I have the Maze Runner books, Divergent series, the Raven Cycle, which I read last year. I don't think those are series I will reread, but I feel like they're an important part of my collection, so I will keep them. Here I have some copies of Anna and the French Kiss, Lola and the Boy Next Door, I Happily Ever After. I don't know if I'll reread them, but they were such an important part of my reading journey that I can't get rid of it. Fine Girl is my favorite book for the longest time, which is why I have 3 copies of it. I have my original copy that I read from. I have a special edition that is signed by the author, so definitely keeping it forever. I also have this paperback version because I wanted to do that thing where you get many editions of your favorite book, but I've come to the realization I just don't care enough to do that. And this one I bought is the paperback version with green sprayed edges. So I'm gonna give this away so that hopefully someone can read it and love it as much as I did when I read it first. Then I have Hold Still by Nina LaCour, which is probably my least favorite book that I've read by her, and I just don't really care about it, so I'm gonna give that away. I have all my Sarah Dessen books. I had a phase that I really like Sarah Dessen books, but they don't really bring me happiness when I look at them anymore. And I feel like someone will enjoy them more that I enjoy them on my bookshelf. So I am going to give them away. Then I have all books that I really loved and want to keep, might even reread. And all my John Greens. John Green is the author that got me into books, so I can never get rid of the books. So moving on to this shelf over, oh no, this shelf over here is my LGBTQ plus YA shelf. So quite honestly, I don't think I'm getting rid of anything on these shelves. Okay, actually there might be one. Okay, I'm keeping everything on that shelf because my queer books just mean so much to me. I need them in my life. Even if I won't read them, they bring me so much joy. The only one I want to get rid of is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. They Will Die at the End was one of my favorite books. I loved it so much when I read it years ago. But History Is All You Left Me just wasn't for me. And I know a lot of people love that book. So that's why I want to give it away, because I feel like someone will adore this book, but it's just, I don't know why I didn't really enjoy it. Then let's move on to this shelf over here. This is going to be really quick because this is my Cassandra Clare shelf. There's a few books missing because they are on my TBR shelf. Not getting rid of anything. I love my collection, my beautiful hardcovers. Okay, let's go with this shelf here. So first I've got my The Harry Mafi, the Shatter Me series. Still to this day, probably my favorite fantasy slash dystopian slash sci-fi series. I have reread the series and will reread it again. Keeping that. Just read this beautiful book and loved it, and it's the most beautiful book I own, so of course that's not going anywhere. Actually, nothing on the shelf is going away because those are actually my favorite, basically my shelf of favorite fantasies or sci-fis. We've got the, what's this called? The Lunar Chronicles that I love. Crier's War and Ironheart, adore. Girls of Paper and Fire, fantastic. Nothing is going away. Here is my adult, this is my adult shelf. I have Gone Girl that I actually never read. I saw the movie, but I never read it. But you know what? I was gonna get rid of it, but I feel like I might end up reading it one day. So I'm gonna keep that. Vanishing Half, Such a Fun Age. This I remember reading for school. I don't really feel a need to keep it, but I did annotate it because I was studying. But I feel like it's still in good enough condition that someone might want it, so I'll give that away. Crazy Rich Asians, I will also get rid of because I bought it wanting to read it, but I've seen the movie, so I've kind of lost interest in reading the book. I feel like I love all of this. Moving on to the next shelf, which is this one here. This is my adult LGBTQ plus and Taylor Jenkins Reid, because these two books aren't LGBTQ stories, but I still included them because I didn't want to separate the Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm actually not getting rid of anything in here. I think that's not true. Okay. Love, 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 love. Nope. So I'm getting rid of 2 books on this shelf. First one being Call Me By Your Name. I've read it, and I think I said I enjoyed it when I read it, but definitely never reading this again. And then this one called When Katie Met Cassidy is like spicy sapphic romance, but it was not good. Next shelf is this one here. First of all, I have two books. I don't know where they're here. Oh, because I wanted to read them soon. This goes in the Vampire Academy series. This goes on my Cassandra Clare shelf. Two books I will not get rid of. Probably not getting rid of any of this. Selection series, Vampire Academy series, both the young adult series that bring back a lot of memories and happiness, and probably will reread a Percy Jackson series. I've read the first two books and I want to reread the first two books and read the rest of the series. I think I want to try to do that this year in a reading vlog where I just binge read the whole series. Malice, one of my favorite books. I've got the Simon Snow trilogy. I've got this little series here called Heart of Thorns. You can kind of see dead flowers and some K-pop albums, but whatever. On this shelf up here, I've got poetry and classics. I don't think I want to get rid of anything except for this one. Because this one I know I'll never reread. Because I just really didn't like it. There's others up there that I did not really enjoy, but I feel like I might now. The only one I will get rid of is Love Her Wild by Atticus, because I know I won't reread this and I really didn't like it. I'm not getting rid of any classics, especially because they're all beautiful editions that I bought and I love them. They're so aesthetically pleasing. Last shelf is my TBR shelf. I actually have an extra copy of Delilah Green Doesn't Care, because I bought two by accident, long story, but I will get, it's literally the exact same copy, so I will either try to return it or I'll sell it. On this shelf, you might say it's your TBR. You're probably not getting rid of this, but there are books that I see on my TBR that I'm like, I have to read it, but I'm not excited about it, and I don't want to do that. I want to always be excited by what's on my TBR. So I'm gonna get rid of some books on my physical TBR, which I'm doing already super good. Like, I'm trying to not have many books on my physical TBR anymore. So let's get rid of the books that I don't want to read anymore. So we have these Violent Delights, which I'm excited to read. I have a book on Palestine that I have my bookmark in there because I want to start it probably next week. I have these two books from the Shadowhunters world. I'm actually not sure if I'm still interested in reading them. So what I'll do is I'll move them to my Cassandra Clare shelf, and maybe eventually I'll get rid of them, but not yet. Okay, I have a couple more books. This one is called This Is What It Feels Like. I remember I bought this on Book Outlet because it was cheap, and one of the characters in this, I believe, is gay. Since I've had it, I still haven't felt like the desire to read it, so I think I'm just gonna give it to someone who'll enjoy it more than me. Same thing for Save the Date, even though it's a gorgeous book. Like, there's even art inside the dust jacket. It's just not really the vibe anymore, and it's a signed edition too. Like, kind of sad to get rid of that. Do I? But I don't actually want to read it, so you know what, someone else will enjoy it more. And I have this book that I was given at one point, and I think I started to read it. What is it? Oh, actually I was gonna get rid of this, but I feel like right now it's definitely more my reading taste than when I tried to read it a few years ago. I think it was 4 years ago or 3 years ago. So I think I'll keep it and try to put this back on my TBR. It's about a girl who grew up in one of North Korea's forced labor camps. A mathematical genius, she learned to cope with the pain by retreating into a realm of numbers and calculations, and escape from both the past and the present. She becomes enamored of the brash and radiant Ilsen, a friend she describes as all woman and springtime. Oh, and it's also sapphic, that's right. Okay, I'm actually definitely interested in reading this soon, so I'm gonna keep this. That's it. That's what I'm getting rid of. Okay, so I ended up unhauling a bunch of books I probably have at least 30 books that I'm getting rid of, I believe. That gives me some nice space on my bookshelf, which is exciting. It's also less books to move. So I hope you enjoy this little adventure of me going through my bookshelves and deciding what books to keep, what books to get rid of. I think it's good to part ways with some of my books, and I still have a ton of books that do bring me happiness. So now I can get even more books and more happiness, so that's great. And hopefully slowly my shelf will reflect more my current reading taste, because although some of it is very similar, some of it has changed a little bit. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye!